Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T. To my bed crimers, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. To anyone new here, a warm welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Let me just ask that after listening to or watching the video, if you learned something or if it caused you to think a little, do me a favor, smash the like button. Now, let's dig in. Today, in the Ellen Murdaugh trial, we heard that 2 of the jurors had to be excused after testing positive for COVID-19. Apparently, South Carolina is in the midst of a COVID breakout. Note that the prosecutors are expected to wrap up their case midweek, barring any more jurors falling ill. Then it will be time for Ellen Murdaugh's defense team to bring their witnesses to the stand. Today's testimony was among the most riveting we've heard. Of particular interest was the information that forensic pathologist Ellen Reimer shared. Reimer performed the autopsies on Alex's son, 22-year-old Paul, and his wife, 52-year-old Margaret. As Reimer went through her grisly findings, Ellen Murdaugh rocked his head and body and at times appeared to tear up. With his face crimson red, he grabbed for Kleenex several times. His son Buster, who was in the gallery, kept his head down to avoid catching sight of the gruesome crime scene and autopsy photos. One detail of particular importance is that neither Margaret nor Paul had defensive wounds, meaning neither one of them put up their hands to protect themselves or showed signs of being in a physical tussle with their killer. This to me says they were caught completely off guard. The really awful part is that both Paul and Margaret would have had a second or two to realize what was happening to them. Trigger warning, the injuries that Paul and Margaret sustained were quite gruesome, and I'm about to talk about them. If you find graphic discussions of injuries upsetting, please either fast forward or stop watching. I will not be sharing images of those injuries because they are sealed. According to Dr. Reimer, Paul was the first of the 2 to be shot. He sustained a total of 2 gunshot wounds, both from a shotgun. The first shot was to his chest, and per Dr. Reimer, it's possible he could have remained standing after that shot. This was not a fatal wound, and had he been given medical care right away, Paul could have survived this initial shot. By the way, Dr. Reimer believes that Paul had his face tilted toward his killer at the time he sustained that first shot. So Paul's body was found face down just outside a small lit room that I think is either a shed or perhaps a feed storage room for the dogs that stay in the kennels. Today, the police cam footage from the first responder to the scene was also released. Take a listen to what is said about where gunshot holes were found.
So I've got multiple gunshots out of that window too. Do we see a shell? At least 3.
Did you hear the officer say that he has multiple gunshots through that window? At least 3. That glass window is toward the rear of the lit shed. That tells me that the killer may have been secretly standing behind the shed, watching Paul through the rear window, and then as Paul stepped just outside the door of it, the killer shot at him. And the pathologist, as I stated a little bit ago, said that initial shot did not fatally injure Paul, and Paul likely was still standing at that point. I'm wondering if Paul, with his head tilted behind him, looking behind him, caught sight of his killer through that glass window. Paul then sustained a second and final wound to his left shoulder and to his head. This shot caused instant death, and Paul fell to the ground, face first, suffering abrasions to his face in the process. This is perhaps the most gruesome of both Paul and Margaret's injuries because Paul's brain was ejected from his skull from the impact of this bullet. The pathologist said that the brain had to be placed in a separate bucket to be transported to the lab. It's horrific, I know. But if Alec is the killer, I'm glad that he has to listen to descriptions of what he did to his wife and child. There is a special place in hell for whoever did this to them. I had originally thought the killer was hiding inside that small shed, but now it's clear to me that he was outside behind the shed, looking in from that rear glass window and shooting in through the rear glass window. As for Margaret, she was killed with an assault rifle. An assault rifle is one that can deliver a high volume of fire, as in really fast multiple shots. I think that if Alec is responsible for this crime, then the reason he used 2 different weapons is because he knew that he could surprise one victim, but he could not surprise 2. The second person shot would realize what was happening and would likely take off running. In a move to ensure that the second victim didn't get away, Murdaugh likely felt a semi-automatic weapon would give him a greater chance of hitting his moving target. What do you guys think? Now, Margaret sustained a total of 5 gunshot wounds. She first suffered a wound to her left breast. That same bullet then traveled upward to the left side of her face. Is it possible that one of those 5 holes through the window from outside behind that shed made its way into Margaret's body? Could that shot have been the one that hit her breast? I'm not sure, I'm just speculating. Margaret, from all the evidence I've heard thus far, was in motion as her killer came from behind her. The second shot she sustained went through her kidney, which likely caused her to bend over in pain. The pathologist talked about how incredibly painful injuries to the kidneys are. While in that bent over position, Maggie was shot again in the chest and then in the back of her head. And remember, these shots were at close range because there was gunshot stippling on her skin and also on Paul's. At that point, Margaret had to have fallen to the ground. I think the killer came running out from behind that shed, either after he shot Paul or after he hit Margaret, perhaps one time through the glass window. The killer then ran up to her and delivered the balance of the shots. Those are just my musings. Let's see what the experts say tomorrow in court. I have to say I feel sorry for the jurors. There's no way they can erase the images they were shown today of Paul and Margaret Murdaugh's bodies. How can your brain ever delete the imprint of such a memory? In a sense, by having to be witness to all these graphic injuries, the jurors have become collateral victims of the senseless crime. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and if you want to download my videos, head on over to Carnage Street on Spotify.
Central 717 scene is secure. Got a Whiskey Fox, Whiskey Mike, both gunshot wounds to the head.
Sir, I want to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any guns.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Check the pulses.
Yes, sir. This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and got. This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
He's been getting like punched. I know that's somebody. I know that's what it is.
Okay. When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left, I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are, that's what they're going to do, okay?
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are, yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already, he's one of the battalion chiefs, okay? How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house, and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it. But I mean...
Is this the only firearm with you?
Sir.
This is the only one, or is there any more in the truck?
I believe that's it.
You think that's the only one? Okay.
I'm 99%.
Do you normally
certain that's
have
right.
any other firearms in your vehicle?
I don't, but
Okay.
occasionally there's a pistol in there.
Okay. Just wait right here for me for a second, okay?
Central House.
Copy.
Kill your front lights, I can't see. Six 5-3 outside. Enjoy it, sir. Yeah, well, I've already spoken with Captain Deal. He's got crime scene. He's contacted them. He's also going to give us the assistance of a couple of field agents. Roger that.
I'm even checking. They're
8 to
dead.
10 now.
They are dead, aren't
I
they?
just turned on those.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Randy. Maggie's smaller dead. Where are you now? All right. Yeah, the police are here now. The police are here now.
Affirmative.
That's my brother.
Okay. When was the last time you were here with them? Or talked to them or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
Somebody going to check them?
Yes, sir. They've already checked them.
They did check them?
Yes, sir.
This is official that they're dead?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
I'm sorry.
No. You're fine.
I'm very sorry. Gotta call her parents.
What's her name?
Her name is Maggie Murdaugh. Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh. How you doing?
What's her birthday?
9/15/68.
Okay. And what's your son's first name? You said Paul?
Paul Terry Murdaugh.
And what's his birthday?
Jason, do you have anybody
4.
coming through town that could stop and pick up that tent? I see lighting off in the distance.
What are they covering them up?
I got some getting dressed now, Sheriff. I'll have somebody stop and grab it.
Tell them they don't have to do that. They don't need to. Preserve what we can.
653. Where's it at? I'm in town.
I should try to be Delta 8 because he's going to be the only one that's got access.
What's
to
Paul's
where it is
birthday?
right
Copy.
April 14th, 1999, sir.
Put it up as wide as you can. That's fine. You said 99?
Sir?
He was born in 99?
He's born April 14th, 1999.
Okay. What's your first name, sir?
My name is Alex Richard Alexander Murdaugh.
Richard Alexander Murdaugh?
You familiar with the location?
No.
Sure.
Hey, Cody, come around the truck and then go to the building. Come around the truck and then...
There's a set of prints off behind the trailer there.
Yes.
I don't know if it's from
What's
one of
that?
ours or not. There's a set of footprints behind the trailer there too.
Okay.
That's how we kind of step out, stay around this way here so we can step over anything.
55-3, 713. Just 8's going to be the last one in and grabbing the 10. Well, it's 35.
Just go over to that corner of the building.
I'm almost to you. Let me see what we have first and whether or not we're going to handle that part or not.
I see quite a few tire tracks in here. Were any of these you going in and out?
No, I came in here and I left one time and I came back.
Okay.
But the rest of them, maybe
Okay.
from earlier, but
Okay.
only 2 are mine.
Did you go out this way at all?
No.
No, that's right.
Hey, stay here. Got a whole bunch of stuff right there. I don't want disturbed.
No, that's why I was trying to get the door here so we can kind of get around that way.
Your best way is probably going to be back through those rocks because we can't get any tracks off those rocks anymore.
No, we'll go back around the other way we just came.
Okay. Thank you.
Each time.
Yep. Do you have names or anything for them?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get that in a little bit then. That's
Okay.
fine.
What unit's 23 on those up? House 7 unit on scene. Are you behind the house?
There's several of us out here. There's a long dirt driveway right next to the mailbox that says 4147, and you'll see all our lights down here at this shed thing.
You didn't come through Brick Collins.
Negative.
Delta 89 on duty, en route to Moselle.
Hurry.
Delta 8, 653. Telephone Saudi.
Yeah. I think his brother. He said he was calling somebody. So.
He said what?
He said he was calling somebody.
Okay. But he was rolling up in his
Yeah, I'm sure he was. There's a couple of shell casings right there.
Yeah, those will be easy to find. I was just marking a couple that were in the gravel. It might be harder to see at some point. Y'all familiar with this family?
Yes. I wasn't until he told me the names.
All right.
Last
Fill you
name
in later.
Murdaugh.
I don't
Anything else you need?
think there's gonna be anything from anybody either.
What is that?
Because I'd say,
You said for Evo to do?
yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
Please watch the door.
Hey, watch your step. Huh?
You got Mark? That's all we have to right
There
now.
are.
Yeah. That's all we're
Okay.
X-ray one's gonna be route to Moselle Road.
Who is that?
The gentleman in the white shirt is the husband of her, father of him. That is Paul Murdaugh. That's just his mother. Paul Murdaugh was that guy in the boating accident from a while back, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be the family.
Most likely. He did have a firearm whenever I pulled up. It's a shotgun. It's been secured in my vehicle.
There's 3 in her blackout. 3 in her blackout. Dude, I don't understand what all the
717,
showcases when there's only
when you
one.
get a chance, can you give dispatch a phone call?
You will have to give me just a few minutes, but yes, I will.
I couldn't have been further away from this call.
Yeah.
653.
Who can start a log?
653.
Who's the most expendable that can start a log? Let's put it that way.
This is. Can you start a crime scene log, please?
What you need back?
A log started. Sled's on the way. Let's push.
Here's
Can we
77,
run the tape
2007, Brady B.
there to there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's,
Where to where?
from
Yeah.
that
Give me a
last
tape,
pole
go
right
start
there
a log.
I don't.
to that last
Get a
pole?
piece of paper, start writing names and times.
I don't have a notebook.
You don't have any kind of paper?
I have a scrap sheet that's got notes and everything on it. I just take
Here, borrow that.
that I can do.
We can push it from that pole to that pole.
Yep. Sure. I do see some. That look old or fresh? Old, yes. I'll just hold the light for you. Go all the way to that post. Lonnie, let's just keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, I think we got it.
53, all the responding units to Moselle Road stopped at the road. No one else come down the dirt road.